The airport atmosphere that was originally cheerful suddenly turned tense. The defense barricade broke down, and in a matter of seconds, Jimin was surrounded in the middle of a sea of mass that lost control. In the midst of this situation that almost ended in disaster, a quick movement was recorded by the camera. Jungkook, without the slightest hesitation, immediately put his body on as a life shield to protect his brother. What really happened in those tense moments? And how dangerous is the situation they face until Jungkook's reflex becomes the world spotlight? Check out the complete chronology below. Before we start, make sure you're ready to love this moments. Welcome to Jikook Velvet. Incidents at the airport often become a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it becomes a longing space for fans, but on the other hand, it can turn into a gripping situation in the blink of an eye. That morning, the atmosphere at the international arrival terminal looked denser than usual, with barricades that began to feel fragile to withstand the weight of mass enthusiasm. The tension began to peak when the automatic door opened and a very recognizable silhouette appeared on the doorway, triggering a wave of screams that were deafening. Jimin stepped with a slight smile on his face, trying to remain friendly even though his movement space began to narrow due to the increasingly aggressive push from various directions. The situation that was originally orderly turned into total chaos when several people broke through the dividing line, tried to touch or just stayed at an unsafe distance. The security officers seemed overwhelmed by the flow of people who no longer heeded instructions, making Jimin's steps stop in the midst of a suffocating siege. At that critical moment, Jungkook, who was right behind him, realized that there was a real physical threat to his group mate. Without the slightest hesitation, Jungkook accelerated his steps and immediately positioned his body as a life shield right on the most vulnerable Jimin's side. Highlighting Jungkook's eyes that were usually funny turned into very sharp and wary, scanning every movement of the hand that tried to grab Jimin's clothes or shoulders. He wrapped his arms protectively, making sure there was enough airspace so that Jimin would not feel cramped in the middle of the sea of people. Jungkook's physical strength was really tested when he had to withstand the weight of the push from the crowd that kept pushing forward without caring about safety. He used his shoulder to open the way, giving firm but calm instructions to the security team to immediately form a ring formation around them. Jimin, who had looked a little shaky due to the push from the side, looked calmer when he felt Jungkook's solid presence near him. The deep trust between the two is clearly seen from how Jimin follows the rhythm of Jungkook's steps without looking back. There was almost a dangerous incident when a person tried to pull Jimin's bag by force, which could cause Jimin to lose his balance and fall. With an extraordinarily fast reflex, Jungkook brushed the hand away and tightened his embrace on Jimin's arm, keeping him standing upright. The sound of overlapping screams and the blind flashes of the camera lights create a sensory pollution that is very exhausting for anyone in their position. However, Jungkook's focus did not falter at all on his main mission, to bring Jimin to the shuttle safely without injury. Several times Jungkook was seen giving a hand signal to the crowd to step back and give space, a visual warning that privacy boundaries have been violated. This assertiveness is very necessary considering the situation is already on the threshold of control, which can lead to a fatal accident. This moment was clearly recorded by dozens of amateur cameras, which then went viral, showing how protective the youngest member was towards his brother. The public is again reminded that behind the splendor of the stage, there is a harsh reality about the security risk that they have to face every day. Mass psychology is indeed difficult to predict, where love sometimes turns into This incident is a strong reminder for organizers and management to continue to improve security protocols at public transportation points. The artist's life and safety should not be at stake just for a content or pseudo-intimidity forced by the masses. For Jimin, Jungkook's spontaneous action is an invaluable form of emotional support in the midst of a situation full of anxiety. Having someone who is ready to put the body in a dangerous condition is a blessing in itself that makes their career journey feel lighter. Netizens praised how Jungkook remained professional without letting go of negative emotions, even though he himself must feel very depressed with the situation. He showed that true strength is not only about muscle, but about how to use that strength to protect. Analysis from body language experts states that Jungkook's gestures show a high level of alertness that is usually only possessed by trained personnel. His reflexes in anticipating the direction of mass movement were considered very impressive and succeeded in preventing worse incidents. The world of K-pop is indeed full of colors, but the dark side, like an uncontrollable invasion of fans, is a challenge that must continue to find a solution. This nearly dangerous incident is expected to be a turning point for all parties to appreciate the personal space of the artists more. The story about Jungkook, who secured Jimin, will continue to be remembered as one of the real evidence of unlimited loyalty among the group members. They are not only co-workers, but a family that takes care of each other even in the most difficult times. After arriving at the destination, the news about their condition was immediately sought by millions of people who were worried after seeing footage of the chaos at the airport. Fortunately, official information states that both of them are in good condition and have not suffered any physical injuries. Finally, let's make this event a valuable lesson to always prioritize safety and order wherever we are. The best support for idols is to give them space to breathe and feel safe in public spaces. Leave your positive comments here. The best comment will be pinned as a way to honor their love. Thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel. May God reward all of your kindness. This video reflects my personal opinion and interpretation. It is made for entertainment purposes only and does not represent confirmed facts.